Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more. I was 11 when I started to realize the truth about myself. As a child, I was very withdrawn and struggled with school. I was overweight and didn't do well in gym class, and my body was a source of embarrassment. I didn't fit in, and I hated how my life felt. My parents could see how unhappy I was, despite their best efforts to comfort me. I was overly emotional and cried easily. The only friend I had was the daughter of my mom's best friend. She was a year younger than me, but that didn't matter. Her mom often babysat me, and I spent a lot of time with her. One time, when I was 7, I got caught in the rain without any dry clothes, and ended up in her robe and a pair of her panties. We spent the day together, and I remember feeling happy in that moment, although I didn't realize it fully at the time. By the time I was 11, the bullying had gotten worse. I came home from school one day, tossed my bag on my bed, and broke down in tears. My parents had an idea of what was going on and how to help. My mom came into my room, and I quickly wiped my tears away. I had taken my shirt off, and she casually mentioned that I would soon need a bra. I didn't understand it at the time, but looking back, I now see her reasoning. A week later, I was at home on a day off from school, and my mom asked me to fold the laundry while she was at work. Among the clothes was one of her bras. Her comment from earlier echoed in my mind, and I decided to try it on. It took me a while, but it fit. It felt surprisingly comfortable, so I decided to take it a step further and put on a pair of her panties as well. I found a t-shirt and jeans to cover up and wore them for the rest of the day, hiding everything before my mom returned home. I thought she wouldn't notice, but deep down, I knew she would. That summer, my friend's family went away for a couple of weeks, and I started fantasizing about trying on her clothes. I was still about the same size as her, and when I visited to water the plants and take care of their cat, I couldn't resist the temptation. After a day or two of waiting, I finally went into her room and found her drawer of bras and panties. Since she had developed early, I found a lightly padded bra that fit me perfectly. I also found a pair of lace high-cut panties and put them on. I paired them with a matching blouse and skirt, along with the knee socks she often wore. I did my chores and watched TV, feeling both guilty and exhilarated. Before I left, I couldn't resist and took a pair of panties and a bra to stash away, feeling more comfortable in them than in my own clothes. A few days later, Patty caught me. I was wearing one of my mom's dresses, and it was impossible to deny what I had been doing. I started crying and begged her not to tell anyone. She asked if I really thought she wouldn't notice, but she reassured me that she would keep my secret. We ended up at her house, where she gave me a slip to wear and let me try on one of her dresses. I already had longer hair, so I styled it like a girl's. A little makeup, and I realized I could have been a pretty girl if I lost some weight. Patty told me she was planning on losing weight, and if I wanted to continue fitting into her clothes, I would need to as well. That became the motivation I needed. When I told my parents what I wanted to do, they were supportive. We both decided to take up karate for exercise, and my mom arranged for me to take diet pills. Over the next several months, both of us went through puberty and lost weight. However, while my body changed, my chest remained the same size, becoming more sensitive, and I realized that wearing a bra made it more comfortable. My shape started to resemble Patty's more, and I noticed that it was easier to conceal my body when I dressed up. My parents told me they were going on a second honeymoon and that they trusted me to stay home alone while Patty's parents kept an eye on me. They left early on a Saturday morning, and Patty arrived over an hour later. I quickly got dressed and made up, and we headed to a mall across town where no one would recognize us. As I looked at myself in the mirror, I started to realize how feminine my shape had become. I wore a tank top, a short skirt, and tights. I felt like a girl and noticed people staring as I shopped for women's clothes and even used the ladies' restroom. Later, I laid out a dress for the next day, put on a baby doll nightie I had bought, and Patty and I painted our toenails. I did my fingernails in pink and went to bed after she left. The next morning, I woke up to someone gently shaking my shoulder. I was startled when I saw it was my mom. She told me not to change but to come downstairs. I stood before her and my dad, feeling embarrassed. Except for a slight bulge in my panties, I looked like a girl. Then they shocked me with what they said. They had known about my cross-dressing all along. In fact, the diet pills they had given me were actually female hormones. My jaw must have dropped, because they explained that they had seen signs from a young age that I was a girl in a boy's body. With the help of Patty and her parents, they had been guiding me through this process. I understood then that if they had told me directly, I would have resisted. But this way, it felt right. They had even better news. They were moving because the company that both my dad and Patty's dad worked for was expanding and wanted them to take over a new division in Florida. They told me that if I wanted, I could change my identity completely to become a girl. I asked them about what this meant for me, pointing to my body. Then they handed me a gift-wrapped box and asked me to open it. Inside was what looked like a vagina, designed for long-term use, unlike the ones I had seen online. My mom helped me put it on, and I wore the bikini I had bought the day before, along with a pair of shorts and a tank top. I ran over to Patty's house, and when her dad answered the door, he greeted me with, "Hello, Tanya Lynn." That was the name I had chosen for myself. I smiled and ran to Patty's room, where I showed her the transformation, and she was thrilled. When I removed the bikini, she couldn't tell it wasn't real. I told her that if I lived as a girl for a year, my parents said I could have surgery to permanently tuck my body, and by the time I was 18, I could fully transition. The next few weeks passed quickly as I helped prepare for the move and adjusted to living as a girl full-time. It was a lot to learn, and I had to stay out of places where I might be recognized. Finally, moving day arrived. My parents had donated all my old boys' room furniture to charity, and they promised me a surprise in Florida. When we arrived, I was amazed by the new house. It was beautiful, with a living room, dining room, den, and 3 bedrooms with 2.5 bathrooms. I even had my own bathroom. My bedroom was decorated with lacy curtains and feminine touches, including a vanity. The best part was the pool. There was a screened-in porch around it, and I knew that I had truly found my place. This was the fresh start I had been waiting for, and to me, it felt like paradise.